top of the world with Times Network. And you're watching Mirror Now.
Good evening. Thanks for tuning into Mirror Now. I'm Marti Subramaniam. You're watching Newsroom Live, the show where we bring you up to speed with the day's top stories. We have plenty in store for you today. The Delhi elections just got dirtier. Who lowered the discourse and why, we'll tell you in just a bit. But in the middle of all the mudslinging and the slandering, there is also the Delhi schools that have found itself in the middle of the limelight. But schools also find themselves under scrutiny in Tamil Nadu as actor Surya has raised serious questions over the quality of education in government-run schools. Speaking of actors, well, at show where we bring you up to speed with the day's top stories. We have plenty in store for you today. The Delhi elections just got dirtier. Who lowered the discourse and why, we'll tell you in just a bit. But in the middle of all the mudslinging and the slandering, there is also the Delhi schools that have found itself in the middle of the limelight. But schools also find themselves under scrutiny in Tamil Nadu as actor Surya has raised serious questions over the quality of education in government-run schools. Speaking of actors, well, actor Dia Mirza found herself getting emotional at the Jaipur Lit Fest. We'll tell you all about that and more in the next 1 hour. But first up, the headlines. Delhi police arrest JNU student Sharjeel Imam after police of 5 states book him under various sections, including sedition for an inflammatory speech. Contrary to his lawyer's claims, police say Sharjeel did not surrender but was arrested. The day after BJP released a video on the state of Delhi schools, the Aam Aadmi Party hits back, calls the report a fraud, highlights how the schools MP Gautam Gambhir visited was non-functional. BJP's Motormouth MP remains defiant over his communal rant, says jihad taking place in a corner of Delhi. Earlier, while referring to the Shaheen Bagh protests, he said they will enter your house, rape your sisters and daughters and kill them. The Delhi Election Commission takes cognizance of MOS Finance Anurag Thakur's controversial Goli Maro speech, seeks a report from the returning officer. The Supreme Court reserves the order on Nirbhaya convict Mukesh's plea for Wednesday. He had filed a plea challenging the rejection of his mercy petition by the president. US shares data with Union Home Ministry in India on 25,000 suspected cases of child porn content being uploaded across social media platforms in the country in just 5 months. Reports suggest the largest amount of uploads were from the national capital. And after PM featured in the television show Man vs. Wild with Bear Grylls, superstar Rajinikanth is set to feature in an episode. Elections in India have always been a messy affair. They've seen charges, counter-charges and mudslinging all around. But this time the Delhi election has been unusually vitriolic, unusually strident and communal. Plenty of comments coming in from the BJP, including those from the MOS Finance and its MPs. Now we're going to take a look at all the controversies surrounding the Delhi elections, and there are plenty of them, I must tell you. But let's just start off first with MOS Home Anurag Thakur. Remember, he is a minister in the central government, and his controversial speech in which he's rallying the supporters and the public in his speech has now gotten him into trouble. The Election Commission has taken cognizance of this video, but despite that, he doesn't really seem to be apologetic. Take a look.
पीछे तक आवाज आनी चाहिए, गिरिराज जी को सुनाई दे। देश के गद्दारों को, देश के गद्दारों को, देश के गद्दारों को,
देश के गद्दारों को गोली मारो। तो ये गद्दार कौन है, हम आपसे जानना चाहते हैं।
मुझे लगता है कि आप पहले पूरा वीडियो देखें और दिल्ली की जनता का मूड क्या है उसको देखें।
अनुराग जी एक लाइन तो बोल दीजिए, एक लाइन तो बोल दीजिए। इलेक्शन के लिए जा रहे हैं आप, तो बोलना चाहिए, बात करना चाहिए। सर शीशा तो खोल लीजिए, शीशा तो खोल लीजिए अनुराग जी।
And when it comes to communal or vitriolic speeches, he seems to have a bit of competition from his party MP Parvesh Verma, who happens to be the son of the former Chief Minister of Delhi, Sahib Singh Verma. Now, the MP has found himself in a lot of trouble after a communal speech in which he says that the protesters at Shaheen Bagh once again finding itself in the center of the Delhi poll controversy. The MP is saying that the protesters at Shaheen Bagh will enter your houses, they will rape your daughters. Now, on what basis he makes these ludicrous claims? He refuses to justify, he refuses in fact to apologize for these comments. Take a look.
वहां पे लाखों लोग इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं और वो आग कभी भी दिल्ली के घरों तक पहुंच सकती है, हमारे घर में पहुंच सकती है। ये दिल्ली वालों को सोच समझ के फैसला लेना पड़ेगा। ये लोग आपके घरों में घुसेंगे, आपकी बहन बेटियों को उठाएंगे, उनको रेप करेंगे, उनको मारेंगे। इसलिए आज समय है। कल मोदी जी नहीं आएंगे बचाने, कल अमित शाह जी नहीं आएंगे बचाने। आज समय है। आज अगर दिल्ली के लोग जाग जाएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा। वो अपने आप को सुरक्षित आज भी महसूस करते हैं और वो तब तक केवल सुरक्षित महसूस करेंगे जब तक देश के प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी हैं। अगर कोई और प्रधानमंत्री बन गया देश का, तो देश की जनता अपने आप को सुरक्षित महसूस नहीं करेगी।
अगर दिल्ली में मेरी सरकार बन गई तो 11 तारीख के बाद केवल 1 महीने का समय मुझे दे देना। मेरी लोकसभा में जितनी मस्जिद सरकारी जमीन पर बनी है, 1 महीने के अंदर एक मस्जिद आपको नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
जब दिल्ली का मुख्यमंत्री कहता है मैं शाहीन बाग के लोगों के साथ खड़ा हूं, तब उसको कोई नोटिस नहीं भेज रहा। उप मुख्यमंत्री कहता है मैं जेएनयू के साथ खड़ा हूं, जो लोग बोलते हैं देश के टुकड़े होंगे, तब उसको कोई नोटिस नहीं भेज रहा। मेरे को वो अगर वो चाहे नोटिस दे दें, मगर मैं अपनी बात पे कायम हूं और इसको और ज्यादा बुलंद आवाज में बोलूंगा। देश के लोगों को जगाना कोई गुनाह है तो मैंने गुनाह किया। अगर दिल्ली के लोगों को उस आग से बचाना कोई गलत काम है तो मैं ऐसा करता रहूंगा।
There you heard a rather brazen and defiant BJP MP Parvesh Verma saying that he stands by his comments. In fact, he reiterated his comments and went a step further when my colleague Alok spoke to him. Take a look.
का जो एक स्टेटमेंट आया है कि डरने की जरूरत है, आप लोग आपके लोगों को आकर के रेप करेंगे, मर्डर करेंगे, माताएं बहनों के ऊपर, ये किस तरह के लोगों को आप बोल रहे हैं? कौन लोग हैं जिनके बारे में ऐसा बोल रहे हैं?
जब मैंने ये बात बोली, आप मेरा पूरा स्टेटमेंट एक बार देखिए। मैंने कहा कि 1980 के दशक में कश्मीर में ऐसा हुआ कि कश्मीरी पंडितों को घर से निकाल कर सारे जवानों को गोली मार दी। वहां पे जितने भी पंडित जो युवा थे, सारे 20, 25, 30, 35 साल के, सबको सर में गोली मार दी। सबकी बहन बेटियों को अपने पास में रख लिया, सारे जमीन जायदाद उनसे छीन ली गई। तब ये सारी सरकारें कहाँ थी? तो आम आदमी पार्टी तो जेएनयू में जाके खड़ी हो जाती है उनके सपोर्ट में। आम आदमी पार्टी तो बोलती है मैं शाहीन बाग के साथ हूं। तो अगर वो भी उसी तरफ ही तो कदम बढ़ा रहे हैं। ये वही मुख्यमंत्री है जो दिल्ली में कहता है कि केवल मस्जिद के मौलवी को ही 25,000 रुपए मिलेंगे। वो ये क्यों नहीं कहता कि मंदिर के पुजारियों को भी 25,000 रुपए देंगे?
आपको ये लगता नहीं कि भड़काने वाली बात है? जिस तरीके से आपने बताया, जो स्टेटमेंट दिया है कि केवल जो है लोग आ रहे हैं और आपके घरों को, आपके महिलाओं को रेप करेंगे, मर्डर करेंगे, एक पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन को आप बोल रहे हैं, इस तरीके से कहीं ना कहीं डिफरेंशिएशन पैदा करने की आपकी वो।
पाकिस्तान में क्या होता है, जितनी हिंदू लड़कियां हैं सबको मुसलमान उठाकर ले जाते हैं, उनके साथ में निकाह पढ़ा जाता है। ना पुलिस सपोर्ट करती है, ना कोर्ट सपोर्ट करती है। देश के कई हिस्सों में ऐसा होता है। दिल्ली में इतनी घटनाएं होती हैं कि कोई मुसलमान हिंदू लड़की को भगाकर ले गया, उसके साथ शादी कर ली। बहुत सारी ऐसी घटनाएं हम सुनते रहते हैं, मगर कभी कोई एक्शन हुआ? ये जिहाद है। हम सब जानते हैं जिहाद क्या होता है। पूरे दुनिया में जिहाद चलता है। आज वो जिहाद की आग दिल्ली के कोने में लग गई है।
तो आप इसीलिए शायद आप ये बात बोल रहे हैं कि जितने भी मस्जिद हैं आप उनको हटवा देंगे सरकारी मकीन पर, सरकारी जमीनों पर। अगर
सरकारी जमीन पे कोई भी चीज हो उसे हटना ही चाहिए। मुझे बहुत शिकायत मिली कि मस्जिद है।
क्या आपको मंदिर या और कोई चीजें नहीं मिलती? केवल सब जगह मस्जिद ही दिखाई देती?
चलिए मैं आप ही को बोलता हूँ, आप मुझे दिल्ली में कोई मंदिर गुरुद्वारा ढूंढ के लेके आइएगा कि जो सरकारी जमीन पे बना हो। आप लेके आइएगा, मैं कार्रवाई करूंगा, मैं आपको वायदा करता हूं।
Remember, this is the third such controversial comment coming in from a member of the BJP in under a week. The first being your candidate Kapil Mishra, who was earlier with the Aam Aadmi Party, also equating the election to an India-Pakistan match. So we've seen three extremely communal, divisive comments, polarizing comments coming in from the members of the BJP. But what really stands out is the stunning silence of the central leadership. We've not had a single comment from anybody so far condemning them or even questioning these members for making these comments. In fact, today, the Delhi BJP chief Manoj Tiwari and Prakash Javadekar, who is the Delhi in charge from the central unit, both of them refused to condemn any of these remarks. Take a look.
प्रधानमंत्री को गोली मारने की जिस प्रोटेस्ट में बात हो रही है, छोटे छोटे बच्चों से ये बातें कहलवाई जा रही हैं, आप समझती हैं कि वो उससे उथल पुथल नहीं मचेगा समाज में? उथल पुथल मचेगा। गद्दारों की बात की है, तो गद्दार कहने पे अरविंद केजरीवाल को क्यों खराब लग रहा है? अरविंद केजरीवाल गद्दार हैं क्या? मनीष सिसोदिया को क्यों खराब लग रहा है? वो गद्दार हैं क्या? राहुल गांधी को क्यों खराब लग रहा है? मणिशंकर अय्यर को क्यों खराब लग रहा है? ये लोग गद्दार हैं क्या?
आपके एमपी सदर प्रलाप कर रहे हैं कल से कि रेप हो जाएगा और ये हो जाएगा, इसकी जिम्मेदारी कौन लेगा?
ऐसा है, उनको आपने सबने इंटरव्यू लिया, उन्होंने अपना स्पष्टीकरण भी दिया और नई बात बोलने की जैसी कुछ नहीं है। ऑलरेडी यू हैव कवर्ड देम। मैं तो वही बता रहा हूँ, आप सारे स्टेटमेंट्स कवर किए हैं, अब ये स्टेटमेंट कवर करो। दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग कि ये स्टेटमेंट आप कवर करो कि कैसे हम तरक्की किया है, परफॉर्मेंस ऑडिट, और दूसरा दिल्ली सरकार कैसे रोड़े ला रही है।
Well, unsurprisingly, the opposition wasn't as forgiving of these members for their comments. Take a look at the slew of reactions that are coming in, slamming them, condemning them, and demanding an apology.
जिस तरह से दिल्ली में प्रचार करते समय केंद्रीय मंत्री अनुराग ठाकुर जी ने लोगों को गद्दार कहा, जूते मारने की बात करवाई, हमें लगता है ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। लेकिन ये कहीं ना कहीं उनकी सोच है। लगातार वो देश में मुसलमानों को, सिखों को, ईसाइयों को और विरोधियों को गद्दार का सर्टिफिकेट बांटते आए हैं, गरियाते रहे। हमें लगता है दिल्ली की जनता बीजेपी को सबक सिखाएगी।
They know what the crowd is going to say when they say देश के गद्दारों को। The crowd will say गोली मारो को, क्योंकि the crowd belongs to is of BJP people. Now what does this mean? It actually is inciting violence. And I'm surprised that neither the police has taken action, nor are the courts cognizant of any of this, nor is any suo motu action being taken by the Election Commission. So where is this nation going?
I strongly condemn this statement, and I condemn the content, the tone and tenor of this statement. It is not this particular person, starting from Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah to the MOS Finance Anurag Thakur. They are all making highly provocative statements, and they try to create the CAA as an Hindu-Muslim issue.
And even this election battle is primarily focused on the issues surrounding Shaheen Bagh, on issues surrounding the CAA and such communal comments. We've also seen a very pitched battle between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP on the state of schools in the national capital. Now, remember, the Aam Aadmi Party prides itself in what they claim to be as improving the facilities in all government schools. But yesterday, in a video that was tweeted by Home Minister Amit Shah, some questions were raised about whether or not those claims were true. It, in fact, featured BJP MPs going to some of these schools and finding various loopholes. The Aam Aadmi Party today hit back with a video of their own and also criticized the BJP for making baseless allegations. I'm going to take you through those videos in just a bit, but first let's listen to what the Aam Aadmi Party had to say in response.
आप हमें गाली दीजिए, हमारे बच्चों का अपमान मत कीजिए, दिल्ली के 16 लाख बच्चों ने अपने 32 लाख पेरेंट्स के साथ मिलके 65,000 टीचर्स के साथ मिलके 5 साल में बहुत मेहनत की है दिल्ली की शिक्षा व्यवस्था को बदलने में। आप उनका अपमान मत कीजिए, उनका अपमान दिल्ली के लोग कतई बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। आप हमें गाली दे लीजिए, जितनी गाली देनी है आप हमें गाली दे लीजिए। और दूसरा, मैंने अभी कुछ दिन पहले उनका एक ट्वीट पढ़ा था जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि अगर दिल्ली में उनकी सरकार बन गई तो दिल्ली को भी वो उत्तर प्रदेश जैसा बना देंगे। तो दिल्ली के लोग तय कर लें कि दिल्ली की शिक्षा व्यवस्था को उत्तर प्रदेश जैसा बनाना है कि नहीं बनाना है।
In fact, he wasn't the only party member to react. Even Aam Aadmi Party's Sanjay Singh took a jibe at the BJP on the issue. Take a look.
फर्जी वीडियो डाल रहे हो स्कूलों का दिल्ली को बदनाम करने के लिए। एक हमारे जलेबी भाई हैं, उन्होंने बताइए जलेबी भाई ने फर्जी वीडियो डाल दी स्कूल की। ऐसे मानसिकता के लोग हैं लोग, शर्म नहीं आती इन लोगों को। उधर से परवेज वर्मा है, उसने एक फर्जी वीडियो डाल दी। जो स्कूल बंद हो चुका है उसकी वीडियो डाल के दिल्ली के स्कूल को बदनाम कर रहे हो, क्योंकि तुम्हारे गुजराती शहंशाह ने कह दिया जाओ कहीं से वीडियो बना के लाओ। तो मुझे लगता है ये एक दुहाई है। उन्होंने बताइए जलेबी भाई ने फर्जी वीडियो डाल दी स्कूल की। ऐसे मानसिकता के लोग हैं लोग, शर्म नहीं आती इन लोगों को। उधर से परवेज वर्मा है, उसने एक फर्जी वीडियो डाल दी। जो स्कूल बंद हो चुका है उसकी वीडियो डाल के दिल्ली के स्कूल को बदनाम कर रहे हो, क्योंकि तुम्हारे गुजराती शहंशाह ने कह दिया जाओ कहीं से वीडियो बना के लाओ। तो मुझे लगता है ये एक दुर्भावना की पराकाष्ठा है जो भाजपा की इस चुनाव में दिख रही है, जो आज जलेबी भाई ने करके दिखाया है। एक फर्जी वीडियो डाल के दिल्ली के स्कूल को और दिल्ली की शिक्षा व्यवस्था को बदनाम करने का काम किया है। ऐसे लोगों की तो गिरफ्तारी करके इनको जेल में डालना चाहिए।
सब चुनाव आयोग को संज्ञान लेना चाहिए। अगर चुनाव आयोग जैसी कोई संस्था है तो उसको संज्ञान लेना चाहिए। चुनाव में अगर कोई फर्जीवाड़ा कर रहा है, भड़काऊ भाषण दे रहा है, तो उसका संज्ञान चुनाव आयोग को लेना चाहिए।
आप लोग क्या शिकायत करेंगे चुनाव आयोग?
फिर वही बात, मतलब आप कह रहे हैं चुनाव आयोग है नहीं, आप हर एक चीज के लिए जाइए शिकायत कीजिए घूम घूम के। आप पहले मानिए अगर चुनाव आयोग है, मैं तो कह रहा हूं अगर चुनाव आयोग है, उनको तनख्वाह मिलती है भैया इस काम के लिए। उनको जगह जगह वीडियो बनाना होता है, जगह जगह निगरानी करनी होती है। तो अगर ऐसी चीजें सामने आ रही हैं तो इसका संज्ञान चुनाव आयोग को लेना चाहिए। मैं तो सिंपल बात कह रहा हूं।
Right, so that BJP video becoming the focal point of the battle between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, but essentially, according to the BJP, and this is a video that has been released by them on social media, 7 of their MPs from the national capital went to various schools to examine the improvement in any of these schools, and they found a number of lacuna. This is the video that has been released by the BJP on social media. Take a look.
मैं आज अमित शाह जी को आमंत्रण देता हूं कि आप समय बताइए, मैं अपने सारे अपॉइंटमेंट्स कैंसिल करके मैं आता हूं आपके पास, आपको लेके चलता हूं, दिल्ली के स्कूलों में लेके चलता हूं। आप बताइए कौन से स्कूल में चलना चाहेंगे, मैं आपको लेके चलता हूं और दिल्ली के स्कूल दिखाता हूं।
पढ़ाई नहीं होती जल्दी से, कभी सर आते कभी नहीं आते हैं।
तो कौन सा स्कूल है इसका, क्या नाम है?
ये सर्वोदय बाल विद्यालय।
देखिए ये तो इसकी छत है, ये छत है इसकी, अंदर बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, बारिश में यहाँ पर पानी टपकता है। ये देखिए ये बिल्डिंग कभी भी गिर जाएगी। ये है आलीशान स्कूल, ये है शिक्षा की क्रांति। ये देखिए क्या शिक्षा की क्रांति है। ये देखिए ये है शिक्षा की क्रांति लाइन, और यहाँ बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं।
पानी गिरता है।
दिखाओ, एक पत्र है जो PWD डिपार्टमेंट ने स्कूल को लिखा, प्रिंसिपल को लिखा।
That was the video that was released by the BJP on social media, claiming that the Aam Aadmi Party's claims as far as educational reforms are concerned are far from reality. But the AAP was quick to respond. Remember, education is one of their pet projects. It's something that they claim they have revolutionized. And they released a video on Twitter showing this particular school that BJP MP Gautam Gambhir visited. In fact, there is a little notice put up in one of these, outside these schools, which says that the school has moved. So the Aam Aadmi Party essentially releasing a counter video saying that the schools that were visited by the BJP, which they found closed, had in fact been shifted to other places. So education, the state of schools, becoming the latest war between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. But certainly to see them arguing over education is better than the communal fight that we've been seeing over the past few days. We're going to slip into a short break and come back with more on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The controversial JNU student who was caught on camera speaking about a blockade in Assam and talking of cutting Assam has been arrested in Bihar. Remember, he was wanted almost by 5 different states after cases of sedition, among others, were registered against him in various parts of the country. Now, today he has been arrested in Bihar, and I'm going to go across to my colleague Bhavtosh, who's been tracking the story, for more updates on this. Bhavtosh, firstly, just for the benefit of our viewers, just take us through the cases that were registered against Shahjir Imam, and secondly, where and how the police finally managed to get him.
Well, the cases have been registered by the UP police, Delhi police, as well as Assam, Arunachal and Manipur police. Now, the cases are very similar. These cases pertains to 2 speeches that he gave, one on 13th of December outside Jamia Millia Islamia University, and the second speech was given on 16th of January outside Aligarh Muslim University. Now, he has been booked under sections of 153A, that is spreading communal disharmony and also promoting enmity between 2 communities. He's been booked under 124A, which is sedition, and also under IT Act by the Assam police. But the most stringent section of the law under which he has been booked is Section 7 of UPA by Assam police. Now, there was a heated war of words between Delhi police and Bihar police, because Bihar police accused Delhi police of not taking them into confidence when he was nabbed. Delhi police has said it was a joint operation officially, but it was actually crime branch which had a tip-off which led to his arrest. Now, he's presently been given a transit remand of 2 days, and it's expected that by late tonight or early tomorrow morning he will be produced. He will, in fact, be in Delhi, and later in the day will be produced before the court. Shahjir Islam, according to Delhi police, will also be probed for his role for inciting mob, which in fact created ruckus and violence in Jamia Millia and also in parts of Southeast Delhi on 15th of December.
Right, Bhavtosh, thanks so much for joining us. Remember, Shahjir had also found himself in the middle of the controversy surrounding the Delhi elections because of the trading of charges between the BJP and the AAP, both in fact saying, why don't you act against him? We have a reaction coming in from the police to his arrest. Let's take a quick listen in.
हमारी टीम 25 को ही पटना गई, पटना पुलिस से 26 को पहुंच गई, 26 से पटना पुलिस और बिहार पुलिस लगातार हमें कोऑपरेट कर रही थी। बिहार पुलिस के कोऑपरेशन से लगातार हम रेड्स कर रहे थे। 25, 26, 27 तारीख को लास्ट कल रात में हम लोगों ने रेड किया, तो इसका ब्रदर मुजम्मिल हम लोगों को मिला। वहां से कुछ और वाइटल इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली, जिससे कि हम लोगों ने आज लगभग 2 बजे शहजीर इमाम को उसके गांव काको, जिला जहानाबाद, मलिक टोला, वहां से डिटेन किया और फॉर्मली फिर हम लोगों ने इसको अरेस्ट किया। फिलहाल इसको हम लोग वहां कंसर्न मजिस्ट्रेट के पास पेश करके इसकी ट्रांजिट रिमांड ले रहे हैं और शॉर्टेस्ट पॉसिबल रास्ते से दिल्ली लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। फिर यहां जुरिसडिक्शनल मजिस्ट्रेट को पेश करके आगे की इन्वेस्टिगेशन हम लोग करेंगे।
Right, and we have some breaking news coming in. There was high drama and moments of chaos at Shaheen Bagh just some time ago after a man carrying a pistol was spotted by protesters. The man is allegedly part of a group who had come to ask the protesters to open one side of the road. Remember, the road is currently being blocked as a result of the Shaheen Bagh protest. But upon spotting the pistol, the man carrying it was thrashed. However, no complaint has been filed so far. My colleague Alok joins me with more details. Alok, Can you tell us what exactly happened? Do we know more details about who this man was, what he was doing there, and how come there is no police case that's been registered?
Well, this man is in fact the resident of Shaheen Bagh, and he is the part of that protest as well. But he came there, and not only him, he was accompanied by 3-4 more persons, and in fact they were trying to convince the protesters that we should just open one side of the road. Remember, there was a kiosk, there was a lot of traffic problem is happening. So there are various groups and sections which are in fact trying to just to leave and just to open the road. So that is what is happening, and they were trying to convince these protesters. At that point in time, there was argument happened between them. And the person who is about whom we are talking, he he whipped out a pistol. However, on seeing the pistol, there was a kiosk happen, and he was in fact beaten up by the people as well that who were protesting. However, because he is known to that area, and the people who beaten him up, they also knew him. So that is why he was later allowed to go. Because the police is not there, and police is in fact that covering that area more than 300 meters away from that particular place where the protest is happening. So therefore, the police intervention was not happened. However, the police says that as of now, they haven't received any complaint from both the sides, so that they haven't taken any action into it.
Alok, thanks so much for joining us. These are the visuals of your screen there of a ruckus at Shaheen Bagh after a man was spotted wielding a gun, and he was thrashed by the people there when he was spotted. He claims that he was trying to ensure that the people clear the road, which has been blocked for around 40 days since the protests have begun. Right, on some breaking news coming in, the Health Ministry has confirmed that the Ministry of External Affairs has made a formal request to China for facilitating the evacuation of Indian nationals from Wuhan. The Ministry of Civil Aviation will make necessary arrangements for evacuation after approval of Chinese authorities, and the Indian Embassy in Beijing is in contact with all the Indians in Wuhan. In fact, the DGCA has just approved an Air India flight to Wuhan for evacuating Indian citizens from the coronavirus-hit Chinese city of Wuhan. The situation is closely being monitored by the Ministry of Health Affairs as well as External Affairs, Civil Aviation, Shipping and Defence. In Beijing is in contact with all the Indians in Wuhan. In fact, the DGCA has just approved an Air India flight to Wuhan for evacuating Indian citizens from the coronavirus-hit Chinese city of Wuhan. The situation is closely being monitored by the Ministry of Health Affairs as well as External Affairs, Civil Aviation, Shipping and Defence. Well, wherever he goes, protest follows, because the governor of West Bengal once again found himself in the midst of plenty of student protests at the Calcutta University. He was there for the student ceremony, but instead he was greeted by protests and heckling. Take a look.
You can see the kind of protests that have broken out here. They're not allowing the governor to go onto the stage. The stage is completely empty, and the protests have broken out here. The Chancellor of the university, Jagdeep Dhankar, the Governor of West Bengal, was supposed to be presiding over this convocation ceremony, which has now been indefinitely delayed because the kind of protests that have broken out here from students from various colleges. The person that we spoke to said he's from South City College, but this is specifically a Calcutta University convocation. But there are students from other universities who have come in and they are protesting against the governor's presence here on stage. Chancellor's chair there empty, all the dignitaries, Abhijit Vinayak Banerjee, who was supposed to be given the D.Litt, also not present here, and completely those are the administration from the college. The program was supposed to begin at 1, but looking at the chaos that has unfolded at the venue here, it's highly unlikely that the convocation will take place until the protesting students are controlled.
Well, the Nirbhaya case has been dragging on for 7 years now, and today there was another delay as the Supreme Court has now decided, instead of pronouncing its orders today, it will pronounce its orders tomorrow on the plea that was filed by one of the convicts in which his mercy petition, which was rejected by the president, has been challenged. The Supreme Court heard the matter and made a series of observations. There was intense argument between the Solicitor General and the Defence Counsel for one of the convicts. But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court has decided that it will finally pass its orders on the matter tomorrow. Remember, the 4 convicts are scheduled to be hanged on the 1st of February, and there still is a question mark on whether or not that hanging will take place as scheduled, given how many times these convicts have tried to take advantage of the loopholes in the law. I want to take you through what happened in court in just a bit, but first let's listen in to Nirbhaya's mother's reaction after she found herself yet again in another court awaiting justice.
देखिए, अभी तो ऑर्डर हुआ नहीं है, उसका कल होगा, लेकिन कोर्ट में दोनों ओर से अपना अपना पक्ष रखा गया है और कोर्ट उसको सुरक्षित रखा है, तो जो होगा कल होगा। लेकिन इतना जरूर कहना चाहूंगी कि हम 7 साल से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। 7 साल पहले घटना हुई थी, लेकिन इस टाइम पे अब ये लग रहा है कि कुछ लोग अब जग गए हैं, अब उनको ह्यूमन राइट्स की याद आ रही है, जब इनको फाइनली फांसी का डेट आ गया है। तो कहीं न कहीं इस फांसी का जो डेट है उसको ढीले करने की कोशिश है, लेकिन उम्मीद करते हैं कि कल भी उनकी ये अपील खारिज होगी।
We did see some heated arguments in court today. Remember, the Supreme Court is hearing a plea filed by one of the convicts, Mukesh, who is challenging the rejection of his mercy petition by the president. Now, in court, his lawyer argued that the jailer's report was needed to decide the mercy plea, and that was not handed over to the president. The president did not have that while making this decision. He also claimed, and this is in fact the first time that such a huge allegation is being made, the convict claimed that he was sexually abused in jail, and this matter has been suppressed for many days. The third argument was that the president didn't apply his mind because records weren't placed which were supposed to be gotten from Tihar jail. The president did not have all those records at hand to be able to decide on the mercy plea. And countering all these arguments, the Solicitor General, who represents the government of India, said that a delay in execution will be dehumanizing. As I was saying, they're scheduled to be hanging on the 1st of February, and we've seen delay after delay over the past few years in this case. Now, the Solicitor General also argued and rebutted all the claims that certain documents from Tihar jail authorities had been kept aside or not given to them. He said that all documents with records were placed before the president. The president arrived at his decision knowing all the facts of this particular case, and nothing was kept from him. Well, the court is now going to be hearing the matter tomorrow, is going to pronounce its order tomorrow, and we'll have to see whether or not there are any more legal hurdles, any more legal challenges in this case, or whether the convicts of Nirbhaya, after 7 years, will finally meet their fate. Over the past few months, we've seen schools, colleges, universities becoming extremely charged as a result of the Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protests, because of the NRC and the NPR. But a case in Bidar will really make you wonder whether or not young students, primary school students, should be dragged into this entire controversy. Now, staging a school play about the NRC and the CAA, that's what has gotten the school into trouble, because now the police have filed an FIR. They've registered an FIR against the school management, and shockingly though, they've filed a case of sedition against them. I want to go across to my colleague Shrija, who's been following this particular case. Shrija, first talk us through what this play was. I mean, we'll just get to the charges against the school management in a bit, but what is this controversial play that has raised the hackles of the Karnataka police?
Well, it was an annual day celebration at Shaheen Institution. This is in Bidar district of Karnataka. So what we understand from the management themselves is that the primary school students, which is the 4th standard and between 4th and 6th standard students, they were taking part in a drama. Now, the drama that we're talking about is especially they had to enact something to do with CAA and NRC. What if officials come, knock at your door and ask for documents? So that was something that the students were asked to enact. reenact. And we also understand that these are the little students that we're talking about. We had also, going by the video which went clearly viral on the social media, we see the children are talking about how one should not be in fact giving the documents in case if there are any officials coming and asking them for the documents. In fact, these are the officials which need to be beaten up with slippers. Now, this is something which the children had enacted upon. Apart from that, we also understand they had made certain derogatory remarks against Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. So, as far as the case goes, what we understand, it is the social activist identified as Nilesh. He went ahead and registered a complaint with the town police. This is in Bidar, after which we understand a sedition case has been filed against the school management. Now, to talk about the people, the accused in this particular FIR, we understand an unnamed president or the head of Shaheen Institution has been named as the accused number 1, and the accused number 2 has been identified as the management of Shaheen Institution, and accused number 3 also we understand has been identified as a person, Mohammed, who uploaded this particular video on the social networking site. Now, to give more perspective into what are the IPC sections that has been filed against this very school, and also the persons that we're talking about, one being the sedition case, and apart from that 124A, and we're also looking at IPC section 504, which is intentional insult with an intent to breach the peace, and then we are also looking at 153A, which is promoting and attempting to promote disharmony, and finally we are looking at IPC section 34, which is common intent of Indian Penal Code. So we also hear from the police that they did in fact speak to these very students who were involved in the entire drama this evening at around 4:30, and we also understand that they are trying to gather more details as to who really asked these children to enact this particular drama. Back to you, Aarti.
That's right, Shrija. The police have spoken to the students who took part in that play, but really the question is whether sedition is a bit extreme in a case like this. Now, Shrija, this is not the first time that schools in Karnataka have been extremely politicized and young students have been dragged into the rather polarized political atmosphere in our country. Just a few months ago, we saw another school in Karnataka where students were reenacting the demolition of the Babri Masjid. Shrija, if you can hear me, I was saying that this is not the first time that a school in Karnataka and young students find themselves being pulled in to a very vitiated and politically charged atmosphere. Just a few months ago, we saw another incident where young students were made to reenact the demolition of the Babri Masjid.
Well, that's right, Aarti. In fact, just a couple of months, which means in the month of December 2019, we also saw, especially where a school run by the RSS leader, we see Kaladka Prabhakar. In fact, in that coastal district of Karnataka, we also see where the children had enacted, especially the Babri Masjid, the demolition itself. But we also saw how, especially the video of the incident showed a large number of children demolish a poster depicting the masjid and then replacing it with a Ram temple photo amidst the chants of Ram, Sita and Hanuman. So we clearly see this also in fact has snowballed into a huge controversy. Now, like you did point out, this is not the very first time we are looking at such controversies as far as to do with the students in universities and schools are also concerned, because we also saw very latest incident as far as Nalin Balakumar is concerned from Mysore University, where she was also arrested, and just yesterday, in fact, she got her bail, and also we're looking at a very high tension, a very sensitive and volatile situation as far as such a controversial protest in the state of Karnataka is concerned.
Right, Shrija, thanks so much for joining us and bringing us those details. Young school children finding themselves in the midst of a very polarized debate in our country currently, be it on the Ayodhya issue or the Citizenship Amendment Act. But I'm going to have to slip into a short break and come back with more on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If the state of the schools in the national capital have found themselves in the center of attention, in Tamil Nadu, superstar Surya threw spotlight on the issue. Now, speaking at an event, he said that the quality of infrastructure and education in these schools were extremely poor. In fact, surprisingly, he also took a position and said that he had heard that a lot of the students had complained that some of the teachers use caste slurs against them. Now, reacting to this, the Tamil Nadu government has rubbished all these claims and said that Actor Surya is more than welcome to come with them on an inspection of one of these schools. Take a look.
இப்பவும் 2000 பள்ளிக்கூடங்களை வந்து நம்ம நேர்ல போய் பார்க்கும்போது அப்ப இருந்த 10 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி இருந்த நிலைமை அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இருந்த நிலைமை என்னவா இருந்ததோ அதுவும் இப்படியே தான் இருக்கு. பள்ளி ஆசிரியர்கள் கிடையாது, பள்ளிக்கான வகுப்பறைகள் கிடையாது, அழகான நல்ல கழிவறைகள் கிடையாது, வசதிகள் எதுவுமே கிடையாது. அப்படிதான் இருக்குது. இன்னும் உங்க சொந்த ஊர் பள்ளிக்கூடங்கள் முன்னாள் மாணவர்களா நீங்க தயவு செஞ்சு மறுபடியும் உங்க ஊர்ல இருக்கிற உங்க குட்டி குட்டி தம்பி தங்கைகளுக்கும் இதே மாதிரியான ஒரு பயணம் இல்லாம இருக்கிறதுக்கு நிறைய குழந்தைகள் வந்து இப்போ சொல்றாங்க, எங்க டீச்சர்ஸ் வந்து சில டைம் வந்து என்னோட ஜாதி பேரை சொல்லி திட்டுறாங்க அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு இது வருது. எனக்கு வந்து படிப்பு சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு ஆள் இல்லை அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு வருத்தம் வருது. இந்த மாதிரி வெறும் வெளியில நம்மளுக்கு தெரியாத விஷயங்கள் நிறையவே இருக்குது.
பொறுத்தளவுக்கு வந்து சூர்யாவுக்கு தெரியும் இப்போ எப்படி ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் எப்படி வந்துட்டு இருக்குன்னு அவங்களுக்குலாம் தெரியும். அப்படி சப்போஸ் எங்கே வேணாலும் கூட்டிட்டு போய் காட்டினாலும் அன்னைக்கு இருந்த நிலைக்கு இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற நிலையில் எவ்வளவு மாற்றங்கள் இருக்கிறது அவர்களே தெரிந்து கொள்வதற்கு வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்கிறது.
அவங்க வந்து டீச்சர்ஸ் வந்துட்டு ஜாதி பேரை சொல்லி திட்டுறாங்கன்னு அவர் ஒரு இது வச்சிருக்காரு.
இல்ல அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் யாருமே அந்த மாதிரி பண்ண முடியாது. அப்படி இருந்தால் அவங்க ஃபர்தரா 17B ஒரு செக்ஷன் இருக்கு, நடவடிக்கை கடுமையா இருக்கு.
I'm going to go across to my colleague Pramod to understand more about the story. Now, Pramod, you've seen Surya, who's a superstar in his own right in Tamil Nadu, talking about the quality of infrastructure in these schools and also the prevalence of caste discrimination in these schools. It's not often that you hear a superstar like him speak up about these issues. And what exactly is the reason behind this?
Absolutely, and as you exactly mentioned, Surya is as a very well-known Tamil actor, but at the same time, for almost a decade, he's been running an education trust called Agaram, through which he's been helping students from downtrodden communities. So that's the kind of thing where he went ahead, and when there was a conglomeration of various NGOs who are working with in the education sector, Surya came out and gave out these points. It's extremely rare for any star to come out and say these two things, especially about the use of caste to actually scold, which has occurred. We have reported on it, and consecutively the Tamil Nadu government has been very clear and very in actually negating it, saying that nothing of such kind occurred. So even now the education minister says that no such thing has occurred, but the recent times there have been expose about how threads are tied on their hands to actually differentiate between different castes. So those things have occurred. The state government has said no. Once again, this time, of all the people, it's a star who also has earned a name in the NGO culture, where he has went ahead and ran a trust for education to provide better education. This is where actor Surya comes forward and gave out these points. We did confront the minister. The minister very simply claims that nothing of such kind occurred, even though multiple times we ourselves have reported the kind of unfortunate incidents that's occurring in government schools.
That's right, Pramod, and as much as they would like to deny it, and the AIDMK government has come out and denied it, but even we at Mirror Now have actually showcased cases where there has been caste discrimination in schools. You yourself just mentioned tying threads to their wrists, but this is a reality, and it's much welcome that somebody like Surya, who's a superstar in his own right, has made these comments. Well, while the state of schools in Chennai might be under question, in Karnataka there seems to be a different problem, because in another instance there has been a case of ragging of a young student in a particular school. Now, the student was brutally beaten up by his own classmates, who then forced him to go and say that he'd actually fallen in the bathroom. I want to go across to my colleague Neha, who's tracking this story. Neha, just take us through what exactly happened to this young boy and what action has been taken since in a case of ragging.
Well, Aarti, a classic case of ragging, like you rightly said. This 14-year-old boy was actually dragged out of his hostel room, taken to the hostel's washroom and beaten up brutally by, some other batchmates of his, is what we're given to understand. He was thrashed. He had, in fact, after a medical examination was done, it was later found out that, he had sustained injuries to his face, to his stomach and to his arm as well. Now, of course, after he was beaten up, the students also further went on to threaten him and tell him that, he ideally should not speak up about this incident and stay mum, be it to the hostel authorities or be it to his parents for that matter. And both, of course, at this point in time, the hostel authorities also tried to hush up the entire matter. After he was admitted to the hospital in the hostel is when, in fact, he made a call to his parents, and that's when his parents have arrived, and, the whole truth is actually unfurled over there. It is really unfortunate that, this entire time also no internal investigation was actually carried out either by the college or by the hostel for that matter, and they've all tried to hush up the matter as merely him having a fall in the bathroom. But of course later is when the parents have actually approached the police. They filed an FIR against the college authorities merely for withholding information on sections 202, 34 and 36. Now, as far as those 3 students who are responsible for this gruesome act are concerned, a case has of course also been registered against them under the Juvenile Justice Act. But again, this does bring us back to the bigger question of how long incidents like these in reputed colleges also at that, reputed schools at that, are going to continue unabated, Aarti.
Right, Neha, very quickly, I just want to focus very briefly on the role of the school in question itself. When the parents first found out about this incident and went and told them, what was their reaction?
Well, Aarti, of course, the school authorities just went on to claim ignorance, and went on to harp on the fact that the boy had a fall in the washroom of the hostel room, and that there was no sort of ragging that went on. But clearly, the marks on his body and the medical examination reports and documents actually told a completely different story. So after this, of course, once the hostel authorities and the school authorities were questioned, is when an FIR has been filed against them for withholding information at first. Now, of course, that this has come to light, we'll have to actually wait and see whether, of course, be it in terms of the license of the college being suspended, or whether more stringent rules are actually being put in place in this college in order to ensure incidents like this do not happen again.
Right, Neha, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. This is the second incident coming to light in just the past 1 week itself of some horrific ragging gone wrong. It's resulted in a brutal assault of a young student in a hostel. Well, she's a self-proclaimed climate activist, but actor Diya Mirza at the Jaipur Literary Fest today had a little bit of an emotional moment. She was seen crying for reasons that are not just quite known yet, but when she was offered a tissue by somebody who was very concerned about her crying, she refused, saying that she doesn't use paper. Take a look.
Don't hold back from being an empath. Don't be afraid of shedding your tears. Feel it. Feel the full extent of everything. It's good. It's good. It gives us strength. It does. And this is not a performance. Thank you. I don't need paper.
And that is a wrap on this edition of Newsroom Live.